Before we begin, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. It really helps this channel grow. And trust me, you'll want to hear this one through to the very end. The morning of my wedding was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that hums in your chest, like the silence before a storm. The sky was overcast, but the forecast said no rain. Not that it mattered. Sophia always said cloudy light made for better wedding photos. I sat by the window of the private suite above the ceremony hall. Below me, the courtyard was already filling with guests, family, friends, co-workers, her sorority sisters and matching champagne dresses. Everything looked perfect. Because I made it perfect. The garden arch had been imported from Florence, the violinist was from a European conservatory, and the venue, Valleycrest Estate, was one of the most exclusive places in the state. It was hers. Every flower, every ribbon, every chair placement, Sophia had picked it. She wanted magic, prestige, to feel like a goddess stepping into Olympus. And I gave it to her. No questions. No hesitation. I said yes to everything. Until today. Today, I was finally starting to hear the cracks beneath the music. I'd been with Sophia for 3 years. She was magnetic. Everyone said so. The kind of woman who entered a room like a heat wave. Confident. Bold. Beautiful in a way that made men stupid and women cautious. When we first met, she told me I was safe. At the time, I thought she meant it as a compliment. That I was the calm in her chaos. Now I know she meant I was easy to control. Sophia was used to getting her way. And I was used to giving it. That made us a perfect pair, until she started to get bored. Little things at first. Comments about my job, my car, my old sneakers. Then came the comparisons. Subtle digs about other men. How her friends' boyfriends were. Driven, spontaneous, ambitious. I was a project manager at a construction firm. Not flashy. Not rich. But stable. Dependable. I'd saved for our home. Paid off my debts. Worked overtime for our honeymoon. Apparently, none of that made good Instagram captions. I ignored the red flags. That's on me. When she disappeared for weekends, I believed her. When she said her phone died again, I nodded. Because I wanted to believe love was enough. Because I'd already bought the ring. And when she cried in my arms, saying she was just scared to be loved this much, I kissed her and told her I'd never leave. Now, sitting in that window, looking down at the $1 million ceremony I had funded, half in cash, half in credit, I realized I was the only one who hadn't left. Everyone else had just been pretending to stay. 12 minutes before the ceremony, my best man, Caleb, knocked gently on the suite door. He stepped in, holding a tablet. His face was pale. "You need to see this," he said. "What is it?" He didn't answer. Just handed me the screen. On it, a video. Grainy. Low-res. A bedroom. Sophia. And a man I didn't recognize. Shirtless. Laughing. The timestamp? From 2 weeks ago. My mouth went dry. Caleb watched me like I might explode. But I didn't. I just stared. They were talking. She was giggling. "He's so boring in bed," she said, sprawled on the sheets. "It's like being FCA'd by a spreadsheet." The man laughed. "And you're marrying him, why?" "Because he's safe," she said. "Stable. I'll get what I need out of it. Then we'll see." I paused the video. My hands were steady. I set the tablet down on the desk. "Who filmed this?" I asked. Caleb hesitated. "Her ex. The one from before you." I raised an eyebrow. "He said it to me. Said he couldn't let it go on." I nodded slowly. The pieces started to click. All the warning signs. All the little lies. And now this. "You gotta call it off?" Caleb asked quietly. I looked up at him. "No," I said. His eyes widened. "Bro." "No," I repeated. She wants a show. Let's give her one. He looked confused, then saw something in my face he hadn't seen before, and he stepped back. Because in that moment, I wasn't heartbroken. I was wide awake. The ceremony began on schedule. The music swelled. The guests rose. Cameras rolled. I stood at the altar, hands clasped in front of me, smiling calmly. Sophia appeared at the top of the aisle, radiant in white lace and glittering heels, arm in arm with her father. She looked stunning. Everyone gasped. She was about to get everything she ever wanted, until she decided to blow it up herself. Halfway through the vows, she paused. My turn had come and gone. I'd said my part clearly, cleanly. Promised love, respect, loyalty. She, however, looked hesitant. Her fingers trembled slightly as she held her vow card. Then she dropped it, let it flutter to the floor, and looked at me. A smile curled at the edge of her lips, not warm but triumphant. I'm sorry, she said, stepping back slightly. The crowd murmured. I can't do this. Gasps. I tried, but I can't marry someone who doesn't excite me, who doesn't push me, who doesn't feel like enough. She turned toward the audience, her voice louder now. He's a good man, yes, but he's not my man, and I won't spend the rest of my life pretending. She let it hang in the air. Silence. This wedding is over. I didn't move, didn't flinch, just looked at her. Then, softly, I reached into my inside pocket and pulled out a small envelope. I handed it to the officiant and turned to the guests. Thank you all for coming, I said. Please enjoy the dinner and open bar. It's been fully paid for. I turned to Sophia. Her smile was flickering now. And as for you, I said, lowering my voice, you may want to check what's inside. She took the envelope with a frown. Inside, printed stills, screenshots from the video. Her face drained of color. You think you can humiliate me? I said, barely loud enough for the mic to pick up. You really thought I didn't know? She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I turned to the crowd again, smiling. My lawyer will be in touch. We had a prenup. You violated it. Then I stepped off the altar and left. Behind me, chaos erupted. Cameras, screaming, gasps. Sophia shouting something, too late. But I was already gone. The next morning, my name was trending. But not because I did anything dramatic. It was because I didn't. Because I smiled. Because I walked away. And because someone, not me, had leaked stills from the footage to a wedding gossip page with nearly 2 million followers. I don't know who sent it. Probably someone in the crowd. Maybe even Caleb. But the screenshots were clean. Crisp. Sophia. Half naked. In bed. Laughing. With the line quoted in bold beneath. It's like being fed by a spreadsheet. The internet went feral. TikTok exploded with duets. Women were calling her a narcissist. Men were stitching her video to say, "This is why men stop trusting." Therapists were breaking it down like it was a case study. And Sophia? She tried to run PR. She posted a crying video within 24 hours, her makeup smudged, claiming she was just overwhelmed, that the clip was old, and that she never meant to hurt anyone. But the comments didn't buy it. You don't cheat on a man and humiliate him on his wedding day. He handled it better than 99% of people would have. King shit. You fumbled a man who gave you the world. For what? A TikTok moment? Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. I didn't post, didn't tweet, didn't even like a single comment, because the plan was already in motion. That prenup she signed 2 years ago? It had infidelity clauses. And thanks to the time-stamped video, she had no legal leg to stand on. She lost her share of the house. She forfeited any claim to my business income. She even had to pay part of the wedding cost, since she was the one who breached the contract for use of the venue. Oh, and one more thing. She didn't know this until her lawyer told her. I owned the venue. Valleycrest Estate wasn't just where we held the wedding. It was my firm's property, part of a real estate acquisition we'd finalized a year earlier. She thought she'd humiliate me on a stage I rented. She didn't realize she did it in my house. A week later, her face was gone from Instagram. Not archived. Deleted. Her modeling deals? Cancelled. She was in breach of several brand image clauses. Turns out luxury skincare brands don't like working with brides who mock their grooms on camera. She tried to pivot. Healing journey, self-love, lessons learned. Didn't stick. Meanwhile, I went back to work. Quietly. Calmly. I met with clients. Visited sites. Cleaned up the remains of what could have been a very messy scandal. The board loved me more than ever. Crisis handled with class, one partner said. You didn't flinch. No reason to, I said. People always show you who they are. Eventually. About a month after the wedding, I got a message from Sophia's sister, Alina. We'd never been close. She always stayed out of drama. Her message was simple. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. None of it. I replied. Thank you. I hope your family's okay. She wrote back. My parents are furious. She's not welcome at the house right now. Honestly, I'm not sure they'll forgive her. I didn't answer, because I didn't need to. A few weeks later, Caleb invited me to a dinner party. I almost declined, but I went. And that's where I met Clara. Smart, warm, disarmingly honest. She didn't flirt, didn't flatter. She asked about architecture, about how I handled stress, about what I learned from everything that happened. I told her the truth, that I let myself get distracted by beauty, I said, and ignored the silence. What silence? The one that comes when you realize someone doesn't love you. They just love how you make them look. She nodded slowly. I've been there. We talked all night. I didn't fall in love right away. Didn't jump into anything. But I saw something in her I hadn't seen in a long time. Depth. Meanwhile, Sophia started a podcast. Rebuilding the Self. Of course. She made 3 episodes. The first 2 were about boundaries and trauma. The third was about unrealistic expectations placed on women by patriarchal relationships. It had 11 views. And then it disappeared. By the 6-month mark, most people forgot the details. But they remembered the headline. Bride calls off wedding during vows. Groom silently hands her the evidence. Some called it the ultimate revenge. I don't. It wasn't revenge. It was truth. I just let her speak first. Then showed them who she really was. That's not revenge. That's exposure. A year passed. The video was long gone from the trending pages. But the story lived on in whispers, reposts, and think pieces titled things like, When Men Choose Silence Over Rage. I didn't engage. I just lived. I moved into a new apartment, smaller, simpler, but mine. I took on a new role at the firm, not just managing projects, but mentoring young architects. I stopped checking Sophia's socials, because there was nothing left to see. Her name wasn't mentioned in press circles anymore. Brands had moved on. People forgot. But I hadn't. Not in a bitter way. Just in a way that makes you look both ways before crossing paths with charm ever again. Clara and I kept seeing each other. At first, just for drinks. Then museum visits. Lawn walks. We talked. A lot. But never about the wedding. Until one night, over wine, she asked, Do you ever think about her? I nodded. Not the way you think. I don't miss her. I just sometimes wonder what would have happened if I hadn't smiled. If I'd shouted, broken something, fought back like they expect us to. She tilted her head. And? I think I'd still be angry. But because I didn't, I'm free. She raised her glass. To freedom. We clinked. One afternoon, I visited a bookstore downtown. A small place, leather chairs, old jazz, the smell of paper and rain. As I browsed, I heard a voice behind me. Nathan? I turned. Sophia. Her hair was shorter. No makeup. Sweatshirt and jeans. No cameras. No heels. No performance. Just a woman. Tired. Smaller. Not the goddess from the altar. Just human. Hi, she said softly. I gave a slight nod. Hi. She hesitated, then added, You look good. Thanks. I've been doing a lot of work on myself. I said nothing. Therapy. Journaling. I even stopped drinking. Still, I stayed quiet. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I looked her in the eyes. There was no manipulation there. No strategy. Just a broken thing trying to fix what couldn't be glued back together. I believe you, I said. She blinked. Really? Yeah. I believe you're sorry. But that doesn't change anything. She nodded slowly. I don't expect forgiveness. I tilted my head. Good. Because it's not mine to give. You didn't just hurt me. You hurt everyone who trusted you. She looked down. I stepped past her toward the register, then paused. Sophia. She looked up, hopeful. Thank you. For what? For setting me free. I would have built you a palace and lived like a stranger in it. Now, I build for myself. She smiled faintly. Goodbye, Nathan. I walked out, and that was the last time I saw her. A year later, I married again. Not a lavish wedding. No photographers. Just 30 people. Friends. Family. Clara in a simple white dress, barefoot in a garden. She wrote her vows by hand. I don't want a hero. I don't want perfection. I just want a man who builds with me, not around me. That line hit different. And as I slipped the ring on her finger, I felt no fear. No pain. No echo of the past. Just peace. People often ask, would you change anything? Not a thing. Sometimes, we get humiliated to learn the shape of our spine. Sometimes, betrayal is the tuition for clarity. And sometimes you don't need to fight back. You just need to stand still long enough for the lies to collapse on their own. I didn't lose her that day. I lost the illusion and gained everything else.